All right, welcome to today's class on listings and landing pages in KW Command. My name is Leah with Scott Leroy Marketing. In today's class, I'll be taking you through creating a few landing pages. I'm going to show you how to create a neighborhood landing page to share to your clients, how to create a listing landing page to promote your new listing, right? And it looks to your clients like you created a personalized website for their listing. And I'm also going to show you how to create an open house sign-in sheet as well. So to do all of that, we'll need to go ahead and log into KW Command. And that's where I am on my screen here. So the login for KW Command can be accessed from agent.kw.com. Okay, so again, that is agent.kw.com. And I remember that like it's the agent login for kw.com. So if you have not already, that is a great thing to put on your bookmarks bar because you'll be going here quite a bit as a KW agent. And then we can go ahead and sign in. So as far as your login for Command, that will be the same as your My KW login. So same as your login for the Kelly app. The username is something usually like your first initial last name, maybe a number. Okay, password is case sensitive, so it does require a uppercase letter if that helps. Of course, there's always the forgot password option if you have any trouble getting in. And feel free to shoot us an email if you need help, support@scottleroymarketing.com. We'd be more than happy to help you reset your password so you can follow along. All right, so now that we are in our Command account, and if you're still getting in, no worries, no stress, take your time. I know there's so many passwords for everything, it's ridiculous. We're gonna do just a tad bit of housekeeping work first to make sure that your account has all of the correct contact information, so that will autofill on your landing pages. So if you could follow me to click your name on the very top right of Command. So let's click your name on the very top right of Command, and then select Settings from that dropdown. All right, so our name on the top right and Settings. And that will take us over to the connected apps that we have linked up to Command. Right, but we're not going to stay here actually for this class. If you could follow me along instead to the Connect settings on the left-hand side and Marketing Profile. And I'm going to say these steps again because this is such an important section. You'll be going here a bunch. So I'll tell you again how I got here. What this section does first, before I tell you again, is this is where all of your contact information autofills from onto anything pretty much you make in Command. So any landing pages that you create in Command, your Command IDX website, smart plans, you name it, all right? Anything created in Command will have your contact info autofill on there for you, which is amazing. However, you do want to make sure all of that is autofilling properly. Or if you change your phone number or get a new headshot, email address, logo, this is all where you would go to update it. One spot updates it everywhere. It's a beautiful sentence. All right, so to jot down notes on how we got here, we clicked on our name on the very top right of Command, Settings. On the left-hand side, we click Connect Settings. And then you just click on the only option under there, which is Marketing Profile. So if you scroll down here, you'll have to fill in all the fields that have the red star or say required in order to save that. So your headshot is required. If this is all blank for you, I mean, you won't really have time to fill that in right now, but with that being said, we're happy to do it for you. So if this is all blank and you want us to just handle it for you, you can fill out this form after class. You'll probably have to just copy and paste that into your browser. It'll give you a form to fill out that will prompt us to go ahead and set up this marketing profile for you and set up your Command IDX website for that matter. So we're happy to do that. If you're watching this class recorded, that is just scottleroymarketing.com/command. Fill out the short form and we'll fill out your marketing profile in here and set up your Command IDX website. All right, but again, this is where all the info pulls from as far as your contact information, your cell phone, website address, email, bio, social media links. As you scroll down, you'll see all the different contact details that you can put in here and save it. And of course, this is a great time saver and we want to make sure this is accurate. So if you're going to come back and edit any of this, please feel free to jot down notes on how we got here. I know that wasn't too much time to spend, but this is a very, very important section. And luckily, that's all the boring housekeeping stuff we have to do in today's class. So we can jump right into creating a neighborhood landing page for your clients. Now, these landing pages are some of my favorite parts of Command. Okay, a landing page, the purpose of it is to capture leads. And I'll be expanding on, the purpose of a landing page even further as we go through the class. All right, but as we start off, let's go ahead and create a contact to practice on. So on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see a menu going down your screen. And we want to click on the second icon down. That looks like a contact icon, or contact card maybe. And just a little tip for the command menu on the left-hand side. So KW has done a great job centralizing all your tools to this one menu, which is beautiful. All right, so as you're learning Command, you can really just start from the top and work your way down. With that being said, if you click on the KW logo on the very top left, it'll pan out this menu letting you know what each section does, so you can really start to get the navigation down. But honestly, guys, how I learned the system is just truly going down this list, clicking on each item, see what you have access to, see what tools that you have. Even if your brain doesn't fully grasp it, right, it's a great starting point to just click around in the system. And learning new technology doesn't have to be stressful. I say that as I was just getting stressed about learning new technology this morning. So I know that's easier said than done, but truly, grab a glass of wine, grab some beer this weekend, sit on your couch, put your feet up, and click around in the system to learn it. You can't break it. That's a really great way to get your feet wet in the system. All right, that's my little spiel about learning Command. Of course, if you have questions, feel free to let us know. But we are in the contact section on the left-hand side menu, second icon down. And we just need to go ahead and create a test contact in our account in order to practice on for today's class for these landing pages. So you can click Add Contact on the top right to go ahead and add in our test contact. It's really great to have a test contact in your account so that you can always send yourself things before you send that to your client, right? Anytime I send an email out, I always send it to myself first to make sure that looks good. So with that being said, for a full name here, you can put practice contact or John Smith, your spouse's name, whatever you'd like to put. I think I will put, I've been really stuck on Ron Swanson, so I guess Ron will be my client for today again. Been watching lots of Parks and Rec. And let's go ahead and put in a primary email address. For this, I would recommend putting in a personal email address that you might have. Again, so you can see what it looks like when you send out an email from the system. So here we really just need the name, practice contact, test contact, whatever. And a primary email, I would go ahead and put your own email address and click create. Now, once you create that contact, it always takes you back to the top of your database here. So it takes me back to A's. No worries though, I can use the search bar on the top left to search for the contact. I told you I've been really stuck on Ron. I need more creative ideas here. All right, so here's the one I created today. So I'll go ahead. So all we're doing here, guys, is simply searching for the contact, that test contact that you just created, and go ahead and click on their name from that list. So there's just a little bit of work that we have to do in order to create a neighborhood landing page for my client. And in about, 2 minutes, you're gonna see what I'm talking about and how cool this tool is. So hang tight on that. But what we need to do is pull up the contact and scroll down to the neighborhood section. Okay? And let me paint a real life scenario for you so you can see when you would use this tool. So let's say you just got back from the grocery store. You were standing in line, and like the good agent you were wearing your name badge. So the person standing 6 feet in front of you asks you about the real estate market. You get to talking and find out that they're looking to buy and sell in the next year, right? Nothing immediate, but they're looking in the future. So they tell you a couple neighborhoods that they might be interested in looking at. So now you go back to your computer. I've added in their contact info. And now I'm going to add in those neighborhoods that they mentioned that they might be interested in. So what I'll do is I can go ahead and click Add Neighborhood. Now when I click Add Neighborhood, so I'm in a contact record if I lost anyone. You just need to click on a contact, scroll down to the Neighborhood section and click Add Neighborhood. When I do that, it'll ask if I want to know my location, or if I want it to know my location. I know it's a little creepy, but I would click Allow so that it can search on the map for where you are. It just helps searching. So as far as the search goes, I can now start looking for a neighborhood that maybe they mentioned they were interested in. So when I start searching that neighborhood name, a few options pull up. And if I see that neighborhood, I can go ahead and click on that. Now, when I click on that neighborhood from that list, it adds a neighborhood right here, right? Showing it's selected. You can always X out of it if you added that accidentally. You can also add suggested neighborhoods. So these will display once you pick one neighborhood, then you'll have other suggested neighborhoods that are close by. Okay, so I can always click on this list as well. So those are two ways to search or add neighborhoods. One way, we search here for the neighborhood name and click it from the list. The second way is we can select from the suggested neighborhoods. And the third way to do it is to find on map. Now this find on map feature is especially helpful if you are having trouble finding the neighborhood you're looking for. So these neighborhood names pull from next door. So you're not able to change them. You're not able to add them or change, the area on the map that the neighborhood displays in, right? That pulls from next door and is deemed by actually the people in the neighborhood. So with that being said, let me show you the best workaround if you're having trouble finding any certain neighborhood names. The Find on Map feature typically works the best for this. So if you'd like to join me, you can click on Find on Map, or you can just watch on my screen, either way. And before I go further though, because I just had a great question come in and it's something that I want to clarify really before I show you guys this landing page. So, right, we're picking neighborhoods here. That's not really helpful if they want an entire city, right? If they are looking in Charlotte, North Carolina, this tool is not as helpful in that regard. So if that's the case, so if you get, especially if it's someone who's looking to buy or sell more immediately, like in 3 months or whatever the case may be, saved searches might be a better option for you. And I'll go over this a little more in depth in a moment here. But saved searches will give you options to set up criteria, beds, baths, price range, so forth, okay? These are maybe for, buyers that have more set criteria and are looking to move a little sooner, okay? And I'll show you that in just a moment. So hold tight on that. But the neighborhood feature, this is showing them all homes that are available in the neighborhoods that they are interested in. So this is helpful for maybe more long-term buyers, right? To start piquing their interest, or even if they tell you, no, I'm not really looking to buy or sell, but I saw this really beautiful neighborhood. Well, if you set them up on this little neighborhood search, right, and they start getting those properties of that neighborhood they really like, that might just move them along, right? It might just make their wife be like, oh, but I really love that kitchen. Can we just go look at it? And before they know it, they're under contract, okay? So just to draw the difference between those tools, and it'll make more sense, guys, once I show you what we're dealing with. So hang tight on any other questions, and I'll finish this up for you. All right. So as far as the third and final way on how to find neighborhoods, and especially this is helpful if you're having trouble searching the neighborhood name, let's click Find on Map. So Find on Map. All right, there we go. It knows my location because I let my browser know. So it's showing me in North Carolina. That's where I am. However, I would always search first just so it zooms you into your area. So even if it's not the exact neighborhood you're looking for, if you just search one kind of close and click on it, it'll at least, super zoom you to your general area, which saves you some headache. All right, so I would always search first on the top left. Then on the bottom right, you'll see a plus and a minus sign. So as you zoom in even closer, you'll start to see a bunch of, I call them puzzle pieces, okay? I see a bunch of puzzle pieces displaying, showing me the different neighborhoods in my area. If I hover my mouse, it'll tell me that neighborhood name, which I can go ahead and click on to select it, and I can keep going here. Now, as far as the predicament of, let's say I'm not able to find that neighborhood name pop up, if I hover my mouse over the general area that that neighborhood should be in, so for example, Ballantyne here, right? That is not a neighborhood in my area. That's a general area. It's like a town. So, you know, this map has it grouped. So all neighborhoods within the Ballantyne area are grouped in this little puzzle piece. All right, so in that case, if you selected that one that encompasses the entire area that neighborhood would be in, those listings will show for the client as well. So I know that's not ideal, but unfortunately there's not a way for you to change that as the agent, as again, that pulls from next door. So that would be the best workaround for now to select the area. And then we can click Save on the bottom right. And now we can see what we just did. Okay, so all that quote unquote hard work of adding in neighborhoods. And of course, when you're doing this in real practice, that shouldn't take you longer than, let's say, 5 minutes. And once you do that, I can click Preview. So on this map, under the neighborhoods names, you'll see Preview. Let's go ahead and click on that to see what we just did. So I clicked on Preview on the bottom right of this map, and it pulls up a new tab on my screen with the neighborhood landing page. Okay, so this is now the tool that you can distribute to your clients. So what I'm going to show you around this tool here. So first of all, starting from the top, we have all those neighborhoods that we put in. And if I click on any of these neighborhoods, it will show me where that is on the map. It'll show me all the listings in that neighborhood. I can click on it for more details. I can filter my search, right? So at this point, because this is usually a question I get at this point in the class, right? The client would be able to, put in more criteria as far as price range to search this further. As the agent, all you can do for this tool is determine the neighborhood, okay? If you want to be able to determine a price criteria or square foot, beds, baths, that's where the saved search item or option will come in use for you. Okay. But just a heads up, when you provide this for your client, they are able to filter it themselves. They can sort on the right-hand side, newest, cheapest, and so forth. Okay, and again, they can toggle which neighborhood they're looking at and even add their own neighborhood. Okay, that's grayed out for me because I'm just looking at a preview, but your client will be able to add further neighborhoods as well. Above and beyond this just being a neighborhood search, why I really like it is the stats that it shows as well in the top right. Okay, so neighborhood stats on the top right. And don't worry, I'm going to show you guys how to share it to your clients after I show you around. So hang tight. So on this neighborhood stats on the very top right, this is where you can see all the stats for the neighborhoods, and this does pull again from next door. So you do not have the option to edit this information, unfortunately. However, so it'll show you, homes for sale, how many are pending, average price per square foot, price per home. See current and sold stats as I scroll down. Scrolling down further, I really like this transit and commute feature right here, especially for out of town clients who maybe don't know the area very well. Let's say they want a good school district for their kids, but they are, working uptown. I, as the client, could search for a place. Let's say they're working at Bank of America Stadium. So I could see, okay, as the client, how long would it take me to get to this neighborhood, to my place of work? This syncs with Google Maps. So they could then click Get Directions right here. And it would pull that up in Google Maps, and they can use that on their phone. Okay. And biking and walking directions as well. So I love that feature. I also love the nearby schools, which will display on the bottom here. Again, always a common question I'm sure you get from your clients. The places, and I'm going through this kind of quick, guys, but if you keep scrolling down, you'll see places, and this syncs with Yelp. So if they're not sure about the area, which happens all the time, they can see, restaurants near them, groceries, shopping, fitness, and so forth. So they can really get an idea of this neighborhood that they're looking to move into. see homes for sale, nearby neighborhoods, and an option to contact you. So it's a really cool tool. And it looks like you went through all this effort to create a custom website for your clients to start searching on, when really it probably took you about 5 minutes when we do this in real practice, right? All we have to do is add the neighborhoods in and it creates the landing page for you. Your clients don't know that though. They think you spent hours and hours creating this custom website for them. So it really makes you look like an agent who cares, right? An agent who goes over the top for their clients, which is what we love. So now let's talk about that next logical question, which is how do we share this tool with our clients? And there's two main ways. So if you want to join me in switching tabs, if you're still looking at this, the command account will be in a separate tab, and it should probably say command contacts on the tab. All right. So first way that you can share this with your client, I'm going to show you the two ways. Now, there is an automated way that you can do this through smart plans, which I'll show you in a second. So if you've heard of smart plans, you can distribute these neighborhood landing pages through the monthly neighborhood nurture or bi-weekly neighborhood nurture. And I'll show you that in just a second. Or you can do that in a one-off time. So let's say just in this case, you want to manually share this over to your client because you were just talking on the phone about it, and you just want to include this in an email you're sending them, let's say. So in that case, I would come to the contact and click copy link. Instead of preview, we're clicking to copy the link on the left-hand side. We'll pull up our email, right? And if your Gmail account is linked to Command, I'm in a different browser, but if your Gmail account is linked to Command, you can go ahead and scroll up to click on the contact's email address in order to open your Gmail account. All right, so in this case, let's say I want to write, hello, it was great talking to you today. Here is a link to a personalized website for you to search homes in the neighborhoods you're interested in. And now we're going to paste that link in. Okay, so we clicked copy link, and I'll show you again how I did that. If you forgot, no worries. All right, but in this case, I'll right click. I'm clicking paste, okay, or Control V on your keyboard, Command V if you have a Mac. So I'm pasting in that neighborhood URL. Right, and just a reminder of how I got this, you can just watch on my screen. Where I got that from is from the contact, I just click copy link and it copies it automatically. So then when I click on the contact's email address right here, and it opens that up in Gmail. Okay. So again, I click copy link. You can click on the contact's email address and click continue. That will only work if Gmail is linked to Command, just a heads up. So if that is not happening, feel free to let us know and we can help you link up your Gmail account. Okay. But once you paste that in, you can then go ahead and send that off. And whenever you can even tell them they can bookmark that, and anytime that they open up that page, it will always show them the most up-to-date listings. So no matter what day of the week it is, they'll always get the newest listings. So that's how you can share that link just a one-off time. So that's great. And even better, let's talk about an automated way that your client receives that, a link to that either bi-weekly or once a month. So we like automated things. All right. So I'm back in Command. If you went in your Gmail account, you can always come back to the tab that says Command Contacts. And then we'll come over to actually the Smart Plan section. So this class isn't specifically on Smart Plans. I do have a separate class on that. However, I just want to show you how you can go ahead and send out this neighborhood page automatically. And I do have a short little video that I'll send out as well. Let me grab this little video while I'm thinking about it. So pretty much what I'm about to show you, I have a 10-minute video on that I just put in the chat on the monthly neighborhood nurture, the most popular smart plan. I'll show you an overview of what that would cover, and that will give you more detailed instruction. But what a smart plan is, if you click on the smart plans icon, which is the fourth icon down, A smart plan is an automated plan that'll send out a series of emails, automated text, task reminders, etc. in your system. So if I click on the Smart Plans option and select Library from the top, so again, that's Smart Plans on the left-hand side and Library on the top. You should see the two options we're focusing on is the bi-weekly neighborhood nurture and the monthly neighborhood nurture. The difference? Just the frequency. So this one obviously sends monthly, once a month, and this one is bi-weekly. So all that this smart plan does, and you can click to view steps right here, but what this smart plan would do is, in theory, send them out, right? That listing landing page that we just looked at, bi-weekly, right? So they would get an email showing them, new listings in the neighborhoods that they are interested in that they can click on right from their email. All right, so if you want them to be sent that neighborhood landing page once a month automatically, go ahead and activate the monthly neighborhood nurture smart plan. Okay? And again, I sent out a link in the chat because obviously that was not enough direction for you to set up a smart plan. I totally get it. Check out that 10-minute video. It's super quick and it'll walk you through setting up a monthly neighborhood nurture. You already know half of it because all you have to do is add neighborhoods to your contacts, and then you can add your clients to this neighborhood nurture. Okay, so you can always click Add Smart Plan if you want to go ahead and activate that or pull that over to your smart plans. Okay, sorry, I kind of misspoke there. It doesn't actually activate the smart plan until you add contacts to it. So if you want to go ahead, just because you're here and you plan to do this, if you want to go ahead and click Add Smart Plan, your contacts won't receive anything. It'll just move the smart plan over to the My Smart Plans section. And then once you add contacts to it, it'll actually activate the smart plan. So feel free, add smart plan, and then you can go over to My Smart Plans and you can add contacts to your smart plans by clicking the little contact with the plus icon on the right-hand side. And obviously that was just a quick overview for you, but that will give you at least a test run. A question came in if can I share neighborhoods to several contacts? So unfortunately, the question goes on to say I have many contacts interested in the same neighborhood. That's a great question, but unfortunately the neighborhoods would have to be set up separately in each contact record for this to work. So for the smart plan to work, for example, or for them to have access to that neighborhood landing page, you would have to go into the contact record itself and add the neighborhoods. Now, this is also helpful for maybe a seller who is selling in a neighborhood to receive kind of an active CMA for their own neighborhood. So actually, I believe this is working still. If I click on Edit in any of my contacts here, and you can do this when adding in a contact as well, but I'm just going to show you this. You can watch on my screen if you would like to. But anytime you see this pencil icon in Command, that always means Edit. I just want to show you how you can add in your client's address. And it should automatically add their neighborhood. It was last week. Let's see. All right, so I am going to add in my client's address here. It's under additional contact information. I'm just randomly picking one. So I start typing it in, and when I click it from the drop down, that's typically necessary in order for it to assign the neighborhood. So as you can see, I was typing in the address. It gave me a suggestion, and I clicked on it, and now click Save. Beautiful. So now that I have added in that address for my seller, let's say, and they told me they're looking at selling, it automatically adds in the neighborhood for them. So if I preview their neighborhood landing page, it'll of course show their current neighborhood. However, that gives them a great idea of active home prices for the neighborhood, sold stats as well, so they can get an idea on an active CMA at their fingertips at all times. So this tool is really great for sellers as well, if you want to use it for that. And again, just to reiterate the save searches, because I know we didn't really look at that. If you click on the save searches option on the top right, you can also click to create a saved search. And so just again, to differentiate maybe the times you would use the tools. The neighborhood landing pages, really great for long-time buyers. Buyers looking a year, 6 months out to try to help encourage them in the right direction. Versus your saved searches, right? Creating a saved search. This is where you can go ahead and determine criteria. So if they have a certain price point or beds, baths, square footage, a certain city or cities, zip codes that you want to go ahead and add in, this would be the place to do that. All right, so this is a little more detailed. Hopefully that helps with you guys. I do see questions coming in, guys. I'm going to answer those towards the end of class and as I can throughout class. So don't think I forgot about you. I will be answering those. But let's switch gears a little bit. And we are going to go into the consumer section of Command. So I'm going to show you how to create a listing landing page to start promoting your listing right away. And guys, if you don't have a listing, if you get permission from another agent in your office that has a listing, you can also do this for another agent's listing to promote on your Facebook page. But again, make sure you get their permission, of course, because A, I'm sure that agent wouldn't mind you promoting their listing, and B, it helps get your name out there, make your sphere understand that you are in real estate, right? And I'll draw that full circle for you as we go through this. So if you could join me on the left-hand side menu, we're going to the very bottom live option, which is consumer. So it's the very bottom active icon. It's the consumer section. And this is where you go to edit your KW Command IDX website. This is where the mobile app features pull from. And this is also where you create landing pages. So to do that, let's go ahead and create a landing page by clicking on Create a New Site on the top right. So again, if I lost anyone, and if you're taking notes on today's class, this would be a noteworthy moment, how to get into creating a landing page. We click on the consumer option in the very bottom left side menu, and then create a new site on the top right. So when I click create a new site on the top right, it gives me two options, on my agent site or as a standalone page. This class is on landing pages. So the landing page option is the second one, as a standalone page. All right, and so let's talk a little bit further about what a landing page is. All right, so a landing page has also been called a funnel page or a squeeze page. Right, the idea is to capture leads, which makes sense. However, a step above that, the idea behind a landing page is to offer your client or the customer something of value in return for their contact info. I don't know about you, but I do everything in my dang power not to give out my contact information to random forums on the internet because I don't want people to bother me, okay? So the idea behind that is if you provide something of value in return for the contact information, you're more likely to send that over. So what is that something of value? Is it, a private showing on this home that they're interested in? Is it that you can provide them a 10% off Lowe's coupon if you give them their contact info? Whatever the case may be, the idea is to provide them with value, maybe your mobile app in return for their contact information. Okay, so that's the idea. And now let's take that full circle. So as a standalone page is the one you'll need to select and click Create Page. When I do that, I'm brought to a blank page with a bunch of widgets on the right-hand side. These widgets are your best friend and make this landing page look beautiful without you having to try a whole lot, which is great. So on the right-hand side where you see all these widgets, and we'll be playing with quite a few of them, feel free to drag whichever ones you want. But all you'll need to do is click on the widget that you want from the right-hand side. I'm going to start with branded header if you'd like to follow along with me. I'm simply going to click on that, on the widget I would like on the right-hand side, drag it to the blank screen on the left-hand side, and then release my mouse. And it will drop the widget. Now, before we can publish this, it will make us configure each one of these widgets. So if you see anything incorrect here, we will have the option to edit that. So for example, like my headshot is showing twice, so I'll be fixing that. But right now we're just working on adding in the widgets, so don't worry too much about the actual content. So on the right-hand side, since I'm creating a listing landing page, I want to go ahead and put the listing info right at the top. So I'm grabbing the listing option, again, pulling that to the left-hand side, and I can release my mouse. Now notice this green bar, right? I just want you to note that depending on where that green bar is showing you where you're dropping that widget. So if I want it below the previous widget, I would leave it here. If I want it above, I would make sure that green bar was displaying there. So in this case, I want it below my branding, and I can release my mouse. And of course, this is not my listing, unfortunately. Well, I would just like to live there. But we will be customizing that in a moment, so hang tight. I know that's not your listing. As I scroll down, I can add a few more widgets if I would like to. So on the right-hand side, I definitely always want to have a contact form. Let's see, lead form. So my advice on any landing page you create, always add a lead form so that they can reach out to you. Okay, so lead form, I am going to align that. I want to drop it below the listing details. And you can always move around these widgets even after you lay them or delete them. If you click on the widget, you can click on these icons here to move that around or copy or delete it. Especially if that gets messed up at all, you can always delete the widget and re-add it. Other than that, guys, just some other widgets I like that you can add. The Market Snap, I like, because it would show neighborhood information. All right, and let's say I want to also add the virtual tour. So I added, and guys, you can add any of these things. There's no wrong or right way on which widgets you're adding in. I just want to add a few so I can show you how to use each one. So I added the video widget as well. So far I have Market Snap, video, and I'm going to tie this whole thing up with my agent branding on the bottom. I'll go over which widgets I used again so you guys can do it as well if you would like. All right, so the order I did my widgets, if you want to do them in the same order, switch it around. All right, the top one I have is my branded header. Then I use the listing widget to show my listing information, which of course is not customized quite yet, so hang on. We're gonna customize in the next step all of these widgets. Then I have my lead form to capture lead information. I want some information on the neighborhood itself. I want to add a virtual tour, and I have my information on the bottom. Oh, sorry, that was the video, and then the agent branding was on the bottom. So now that I've added the widgets I want, notice that you can't click to publish the page on the top right. If you try, it'll tell you it's because you haven't configured your widgets. So you always have to configure the widgets before it'll allow you to publish or save it. Just one more quick note before we do that though, there is an option for content blocks. So if you want to add an image or text in there, you know, to give more information and customize that, you absolutely can. I will say though, the widgets are way easier. So if you can get away with it with the widgets, these are your best friend because they look really great without you having to do a whole lot. So let's take a look at how it looks at the end. So if you can follow me, we need to click Configure Widgets on the very bottom. Configure Widgets. And now that will take me through all of my widgets. So I want to start at the top. It started me on the last one, I think. Feel free to start wherever you are. I'm going to click the back button next to the widget name, just so I can show you guys that all the widgets show right here. So here's a list of all the widgets. I can see the green check mark next to the ones that are already done. I don't need to do anything for those ones. I'm going to start from the top to work my way through the widgets to go ahead and finish that up. So widget here. So I'm starting on the top one, which is my branded header. This information does pull from the marketing profile in Command, right? Where we started class, right? That's by clicking your name on the top right of Command, settings, and then connect settings and marketing profile, right? We took notes on that in the beginning of class. That's where all of that information pulls from automatically. So if you're seeing that display incorrectly, well, A, we're gonna be able to fix it, but for future reference, you might wanna go update it in the marketing profile. So header text, let's say I want this to be proudly presenting 123 Main Street. And it won't show until we click save. So if you want to go ahead and see that right away, you can click save and apply and see how that looks right away. So you can always play around with this, guys, to, change it, click save, change it back if it doesn't look good. Okay, nothing's stuck. As far as if you're running into this issue with your headshot displaying twice, okay, it requires the headshot to be in a perfect square on these landing pages. So if that's the case, feel free to let us know. We can change it for you. However, in theory, you would just want to recrop your headshot into a square and re-add that in. And beautiful, there's only one of me now. All right. So that's the fix. Of course, if you have any trouble with that, feel free to email us, support@scottleroymarketing.com. We'd be more than happy to help you with that. All right, let's make sure that our name, email address, et cetera, this all looks good. Again, this pulls from the Command marketing profile. So in theory, it should be all correct, and you can click save and apply. Okay, so in theory, all you should have to do here is add some header text. After I do that, so I finish this widget. So now on the top right, you see it says 1 of 6, right? For me, because I have 6 widgets. And I'll click the next button to go to my next widget, which is selecting my listing. So as you might have guessed, we'll click on Browse Listings on the right-hand side. And it will pull up all listings in the KWLS 2.0. So I can go ahead and search for my listing on the top. I can search by property address, MLS number. If you don't have a listing, no worries. I'm just going to scroll down and randomly pick one. So feel free to do the same. This one looks pretty. We'll do this one. So I'm scrolling down and clicking select next to whichever listing I'd like to link up. Once I do that, so I can see that listing now here. It's giving me the photos from the listing from the MLS, so I can select which one I want to display as the main photo on the top here. So if there's a cool pool or backyard, you can always select that to pick as well. Once I click save and apply, it'll update that, right? So again, the changes on the right will apply to your design once you click save and apply. You can keep going, right? You can even add a custom page, right? You can always edit this, save it, and it'll show you the updated information. Okay, so now I can see right here the property details, all the photos will scroll right here. That's a beautiful kitchen. We'll see, a map of where that is, more details and features and so forth. Okay, so that does pull all that from the MLS. You're not able to edit any of that, right? So this isn't overly editable, but what's beautiful is it takes the data, and it puts it up, lines it up really nicely and looks very professional. So now, top right, I'm clicking the next button again. It's taking me down to my contact form. I don't have to do anything really here. On some of these widgets, you don't have to do anything, but if you want to change it, you can. So maybe I would say contact for a private showing in this case, or a virtual showing, whatever you're doing right now. Remember, once I click save and apply, that's when it will actually take effect. So I can scroll down to see how I like it. If I don't like it, I can always change it and resave it. We're almost there, so click in the next button. Takes me to the neighborhood. And so I realize you might not have all of these widgets I'm playing with on your design, but I do like to add this neighborhood snapshot widget so that, to my listing pages so that they can get an idea of the stats in the neighborhood as well, active and sold. So for this right here, from what I've seen, if you don't put in the header, it will keep it the same. They'll just update Barton Hills. That always happens when I do that. All right, well, let's pretend that isn't there. All right, if you don't mess with the header, I believe it'll just change the neighborhood name. Let's test out that theory to make sure I'm right here. So you don't have to put in the header. We do have to put in the postal code though. Once I put in the postal code, it will then give me a drop down of neighborhoods that I can go ahead and click on. So from that drop down, showing me all neighborhoods in that zip code. I don't see that they're alphabetized, so that should be a fun time, but you can scroll through, find that neighborhood, and click Save and Apply. Let's test my theory here. Beautiful. So yeah, if you don't change the header name, it'll keep like the two colored look here, and it will only change the the neighborhood name that's in black. So if you like the two different colors, I believe if you add in a header name, it takes out the blue coloring, which isn't a big deal. I just want to let you guys know. All right, so now I have that updated. I'm scrolling down. And this is a newer feature, and Command is adding YouTube videos or videos to your landing pages. I mean, newer as in the last 4 months. I don't know. All the days are really blending together these days. It could have been a year ago. Anyway, newer feature in Command, and that's to add YouTube videos or videos in general to your landing page. Why I like this a lot is you could put in a video maybe that you did of the area, or even easier, maybe the virtual tour that you have anyway for it. So to edit the video here, we'll go ahead, I'm clicking next. So it's going through the widgets. So I'm on the video widget. So if you added the video widget, you should see that here. And so let's say I want to put in, virtual tour or 123 Main Street. Excuse me. And then description, take a walk through this pristine, move-in ready home with gleaming hardwoods and all these built-ins, whatever you'd like to say about your awesome listing. And then we have two options here. To use a video URL or upload a video, I would definitely recommend using a video URL. What that means is to upload your video to YouTube first. We would recommend using YouTube to host any videos that you create because it's owned by Google, so Google boosts any pages that have YouTube videos embedded to it. So with that being said, if you do have that video on YouTube, or let's say, so if it's a virtual tour, you probably are given a link by your photographer in that case, so you could go ahead and throw in that URL there if you're given a virtual tour URL by your photographer. However, if it's a YouTube video, let's say you just want to do a YouTube video about the mobile app. I found this one. I'm pulling this up so you guys can use it too if you want. So I have a URL about the new mobile app that you could add. Cool. Okay, so this is about the new KW search app, right? And this is just what I have as an example to show you guys. I'm going to send this out in the chat if you want to keep this and watch it later. It's a pretty hype video. KW is great at these promotional videos. So you can keep that and add it to any landing pages. So what I would do, if I want this video on my landing page, I can click share on the very bottom. And I can copy that link. Okay, so again, I click share on the bottom and then copy. Now I'm going back to my landing page here, right? And I'm using a video URL. So I'm just going to right click on that field to paste it. Or if you would like to do Control V for a shortcut, or Command V for any Mac users. And then when I click Save and Apply, it reloads my page. And voila, there is the video embedded in my page. All right, so it's super easy from YouTube if you do have that. If you do have that on YouTube, I would highly suggest you can just grab the URL right from there. All right, so now I'm on my last widget, guys. We're on the home stretch. I know I took you for quite the ride with all of these. I just wanted to give you an idea of all the different cool widgets that you can use. The last one is my agent branding. This, again, all pulls from the Command marketing profile, so it should, in theory, be correct. You can edit that and click to save. So now that I've gone through all 6 widgets that I have, right, it's on the top left, right, it shows me 6 out of 6 widgets I've gone through. If I click this little back button, it'll take me to see all my widgets, so I can tell they're all checked off. The reason I want to show you guys that is because now this publish page option is no longer grayed out. If that is still grayed out for you, it means that one of your widgets is not done being configured. Right? So if this publish page option is grayed out, it's because, again, you do not have them all configured. It usually gets in the way. It stops people all the time. So I just want to make sure that's clear for you. So make sure to click configure widget if that's the case. Good question. I think so. Someone asked if you are able to add more than one video. I want to say yes. Let's try it. It looks promising. So I'm going to go with yes. I believe I did try this actually a couple weeks ago. So you can add more than one video to it. Now I just need to configure that. Well, I lost my YouTube. Hang on. I'm just going to add one of our random videos for you guys on here so we can get past this. This brings me to a new question, actually. Whenever you have a YouTube video, you should also be able to grab that URL right from the tab here, if that makes it easier for you. Let's test my theory. Yeah. Ooh. So to the question of if you can add more than one, maybe I changed the wrong one. Hang on, guys, I'm sorry. I might have changed the wrong one. I want to make sure that you can or cannot use more than one video. I want to say that no, it does not look like you can use more than one video. It replaced mine. Let me double check on that for you. If you would like to drop whoever asked if you can add more than one video, it replaced my other video, so I'm kind of leaning towards no in testing your question. If you want to shoot me an email, support@scottleroymarketing.com. You can put attention, my name, which is Leah. I'll double check that for you. If you could just remind me to double check if you can add more than one video. Oh, I'm surprised. I would have thought so. But I'll double check that for you if you're interested in that question as well. Shoot me an email. For the other questions, I do plan to answer those at the end of class, so hang tight on those. All right. So now that I have that created, I can click Publish Page on the top. It'll give me that option. Now, with that being said, on the very top left, let's go ahead and edit that. So let's say I'll name this 123 Main Street. Whatever you would like to name that. But I would recommend naming it on the top left. And then let's click Publish Page on the top right. You can always save it if you don't want to publish it. But honestly, there's not a whole lot of risk in publishing it because no one's going to see it unless you share out the link. So don't worry about that. No one will find it. Okay, so let's actually talk about, that brings us to our next logical question on how do we share these listing landing page best practices? How do leads come in? All right, so those are the next questions I'll be answering for you. So here are my landing pages. And if you forgot where we started this whole process, which seemed like a million steps ago, right, we kicked all of this off on the consumer tab of Command, bottom left side menu. It'll default on showing you all of your landing pages that you have created in the past. So you should, in theory, at least have one, because we created one today. So you can always come back to this page to turn off and on any landing pages. So this toggle on the left-hand side. You can always easily grab your URL to share that, which we're going to talk about more in a minute, because that's not a very memorable URL. You can see how many leads that you've procured from this landing page. See when that was created. And you also have some more options, guys. Anytime you see these 3 dots in Command, that does always mean more options. So look for that to edit it, change the URL, and so forth. Now let's talk about changing the URL. So we created a listing landing page, which first of all is really impressive to your seller because they think you slaved away at creating a personalized landing page to capture interested buyers for their listing, to help promote their listing and get as much attention to their listing as possible, right? Because that's all you guys do with your life is try to promote their listing. That's what they think, at least. So with that being said, right, this listing landing page, great thing to put on your signs. Here, let's look at it. So let's say this is the live landing page. I just clicked on the URL to pull that up to see what it looks like live, right? So this is what your clients would see. So great place to put this landing page on your signs for the listing. So a lot of agents that I work with and direct, what they do is they have their primary sign and then they get a rider made. So a rider that they can change out per listing to put the address to this landing page. So bear with me on that. So kind of like a flyer box, right? I, in no way, especially on a busy street, but I am not going to get out of my car and walk to that flyer box and grab that piece of paper. And now I have this stupid piece of paper. What am I going to do with this? Like, I have too many pieces of paper. I'm just going to throw it away, right? So they're going to end up throwing away your contact info. So 2020 rolls around and Command gives you this tool. So if we go to GoDaddy.com, this is a more advanced tip, so bear with me. If we go to GoDaddy.com, you can purchase a domain name for 99 cents for the first year. I'll send you a link to do that. So what a domain name is, if you've never used one, is pretty much a name that you can remember that doesn't look like this top URL, right? So see where my mouse is? That's an insane website address that no one would ever remember if they drove by your sign, right? However, if you go to GoDaddy.com, you can buy a domain name, let's say 123mainstreet.com. Okay, I'll send you a link to get that for 99 cents for the first year. But really, domains are in general about $12 a year. So it's, not too much of a dent there. So if you buy 123mainstreet.com from GoDaddy, you can then let us know here at Scott Leroy Marketing, and we can help you forward that domain to your landing page, your listing landing page, so that when people drive by your sign, they can go ahead and put in 123mainstreet.com because that's a website address I can remember as I'm quickly driving by. And then not only am I happy because I don't have a piece of paper, you look like an extremely tech-savvy agent. I am now provided with all the details of the listing and your contact information. So if I want to see this property, I would be directed to call you, the listing agent. Okay. So very cool feature. So again, with that, let me send to you guys. Here is a link to get a GoDaddy domain name for 99 cents if you want to copy that from the chat. That's for the first year. Hopefully your listing won't be live for more than a year anyway. All right, so I'm switching tabs. If you opened up the live landing page, I'm clicking on the tab that says the Overview Consumer. Right, so again, the main takeaway from that is you can get a custom domain name and forward it to this. You do have the option to change that URL to make it a little less painful. So if you click on the 3 dots on the far right of that URL, you have the option to click change URL, but it only allows you to change like this much. So that's still not a URL that I would be able to remember driving by on a sign. So that's where I would encourage you to get a GoDaddy domain name if that is your goal from this listing landing page. Now, if you don't have to mess with that. That's a next level tip. Another great thing to do with these landing pages is put it on your Facebook, your social media. Pull up your Facebook page, and all you would do is copy this URL. So I right-clicked on it to copy it. Go to your Facebook page, like you would post anything, right? Post about your grandkids or whatever it may be, right? You would paste in that link, and it will help drive traffic to that landing page. It'll help your sellers think that you are promoting their listing on all of your social media, right? And more importantly, it captures leads for you, anyone who clicks on that from your social media. Okay? Landing page is really great. Also, I'll share out at the end of class, and I'll put it in the description of this YouTube video on how to create a open house lead capture form. So if you have an open house and you want people to sign in for the open house, that's what it's, open house sign-in sheet. I'll shoot out a 10-minute video at the end of the class as well on how to create that. We ran out of time. But the last thing that I want to explain to you guys, it'll be real quick, but it's an important concept for you guys to understand, is how listings get into Command. So if you can hang with me for about 5 more minutes, we'll be wrapping up class and you can enjoy your weekend. Okay, so on the left-hand side menu, we are talking about the listing section of Command next, lastly. So it's the icon that looks like a yard sign on the left-hand side menu. Now, in theory, your listing should display right here. However, most accounts are having trouble with this. So if you should have listings, but you're not seeing them here, there's nothing necessarily wrong with your account. The system is just having a hard time grouping the listings per agent right now. They're working on that, so that should be up and back up soon. But for now, we would just go to listing search instead. Okay, and this will allow you to search for your listings. And I would recommend it. Okay, listings have been coming into this is called the KWLS 2.0, and they have been pulling over from the MLS in about 24 hours of going live. It can take up to 72 hours, but honestly, we see it within about 24 hours, which is awesome. And this is the happiest part of what I want to say, is you don't have to do anything at all to get every listing in the whole country in your Command account. So automatically, if someone goes to your mobile app or your Command IDX website or a landing page or a smart plan, all listings across the entire US and parts of Canada are automatically searchable from your website, app, all your tools that you provide for clients without you having to do anything at all. Yes, that's such a beautiful sentence to me. All right, so there's no IDX connection is what it's called. Right? There's no IDX setup necessary. All listings should automatically display. With that being said, if you are not able to find your listing, okay, so first of all, not just if they're not in the My KWLS section, because again, that's happening to everyone, but if you go to the listing search, you should be able to search for all of your listings for those to pull up. All right? And you can also feature these on your website as well, which we're happy to help with if you need. However, if you're not able to find your listing by searching for it, KWRI would have to add that in. So feel free to let us know, or you can click on the question mark on the top right of support to click chat with support to let them know your listing is not displaying, and they can push that over. What they need in order to add that is the MLS number of the property, the agent MLS ID. I'm sending this in the chat, by the way. The association name and the listing address. Oh, I mean the association name, like the MLS name that the listing is under. Sorry, that's what I meant. Of course, you can always let us know, support@scottleroymarketing.com, and we'd be more than happy to contact them on your behalf to make sure your listing is pulled over. All right, guys. So play around with the system. Let us know what questions that you have, because we are more than happy to help you with this. I love the landing page tools. They're really great to start integrating into your business. So please let me know what questions you have. I'd be more than happy to answer those. I will be sticking around after class to answer the questions that you have and send out those other little tutorials we talked about. So feel free to hang tight if you would like to. Other than that, I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Well, one thing I realized I forgot to explain is where you would go to find the leads that come in from your landing pages. Obviously a very important step, so I just want to make sure that is clear. Whenever you capture any leads, right, remember on the landing page section of Command, so on that consumer icon on the left-hand side, right, it'll show you how many leads that you got from each landing page. Okay, so how you're notified of those leads is that it will come in the bell icon on the very top right of Command. All right, and we can test that out. Actually, I'll pull up the landing page here and go ahead and fill this out. Just heads up, if you are testing it, make sure you're testing it with a contact that's not currently in your database. All right, so it's making them do the CAPTCHA here. Okay, no scares. got me. That's good. It makes them put in a valid phone number, which obviously is helpful for you capturing that lead information. Okay, so what will happen next now that I went ahead and put in that contact information? All right, so that will show on in the bell icon on the top right of Command. Okay, and that will also pop up in your Kelly app. So I'll show you that in just a second once it displays. But you can go ahead and come into your Command database. So on the left-hand side, top left, let's go ahead and click on our database. And as soon as I did that, that's when that notification popped through. All right, so pretty much just refreshing your page goes ahead and updates that. So I have that notification on the top right. So I received that new lead right from my landing page. So there it is on the top right of Command. And also I have the Kelly app on my phone. So I just got a push notification on my phone of that new lead. Okay, with that being said, there are no text or email notifications going out of the Command system quite yet. So in the meantime, please make sure you have the Kelly app downloaded to your phone. It'll, push notifications of any leads. I get notification of, my to-do list, my action items I need to do for the day every morning. So that is how you'll get your notifications for now directly on your phone. Right? If someone contacts you from your website or you have a new lead, obviously that's important to see right away. So those are the two main ways to receive notifications, but you can always double check in the database section. So my contact section of Command, just one last way to double check that, up in filters on the top. So that filters button on the very top of your Command database, you can select leads only. And then apply that on the very bottom right. You'll have to scroll down to find that apply button. But that will show you all, leads that have come in. Here's that lead that I just tested right here. That is in my database marked as no. All right, guys, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us, support@scottleroymarketing.com. We'd be more than happy to help you with all of these awesome tools. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. Have a great day.